What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the By the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host, as always. My name is Jimmy. And as we start off every show, that is with gratitude. Thank you to everyone that supports everything that we got going on. The support has been amazing. Special shout out to all of our students from By the Hood University. Is growing in a crazy way. And we appreciate all the support and all the love we get there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, please make sure you like our page. If you're listening on a podcast, whatever podcast platform it is, please subscribe as well. And make sure you share this content with your people because, as you know, our platform is designed to, talk to brothers and sisters who look just like us, talk about their journey, see what we can learn from them, and this to share positive stories and positive energy across the internets. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Corey. Corey, what's up, bro?
Man, every day above ground is a good day, man. I'm out here living a life, man. As long as I'm living good, man.
This is absolutely true, man. This is absolutely true, man. And and as I said, we like to highlight brothers and sisters who do amazing work. This brother that we got coming to you is phenomenal, right? So for those that don't know, like Corey and I are part of By the Hood University. We've partnered with Discover Your Options, which is an options boot camp platform that helps educate brothers and sisters in a world of options, and they've been doing so for a long time at this point. So salute to Jay Johnson, our brother Jay Johnson, who partnered with us to make sure that we give out that quality education. Part of that is you get put into a group. So we have a Discover Your Options group, a By the Hood University group. So we have a couple of private groups where we discuss trades and just different investments, run things by each other, see how we feel about things. One of the brothers that we have on that's a part of the DYO group, and I learned a lot from him, is who we have on tonight. And I like to bring on people that not only that I think that our audience can learn from, that either I want to learn from or I have learned from. So this brother right here, I've learned a ton from just his posts within our DYO group. And it's interesting to see so many people that look like us now getting involved in options trading and stock market investing. But this brother has been trading options for, and correct me if I'm wrong, for 25 years at this point. He's been trading for 25 years. So he was doing this before Tesla was a thing, before y'all started, trying to get rich off Apple and Tesla. He was doing this 25 years. So he's a wealth of knowledge, trader, investor, and overall family man and good brother, man. We got Antonio Eubanks in the building. Antonio, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Good to be with y'all, man. It's definitely a pleasure to be a part of By the Hood, man. I just like the name from the jump when I first saw it, a while ago, By the Hood. I'm like, exactly, let's buy the hood.
Let's get to it. That's right.
I was sold before I even knew what y'all was doing,
man. Listen, man, you have a wealth of knowledge, man, and you always share information and impart to people in the group and help us all become better traders, man. But before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like, where are you from? Where in the country are you from? And, where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up?
Right. Well, man, I'm right here from the dirty South, what they call the dirty South, man, the ATL. I was born and raised here, right here. Went off to school for about 5 years. I was on that 5-year plan, not that 4-year plan, but that 5-year plan. I went to Florida State, go Noles in the house all day long.
Okay.
I ain't claiming the last few seasons, but we still all right. So yeah, and my major, my background is industrial engineering, but I've been in IT since probably like about 94, which is interesting enough. Is the reason why I kind of got started in trading around in 95 was because I was in IT and pretty much sitting in front of a computer every day, all day long. And a friend of mine was like, man, you can start this trading stuff, man. You sitting there in front of that computer. I'm like, trading? What you talking about? And it was a brother at the time, which was kind of odd because if you know anything about back then, it really wasn't a lot of us in it. That's why I'm so happy when I see groups like DYO and By the Hood and some others that like, man, it's so many people that look like me into this thing. Cause like I say, in 95, nah, bro, it wasn't happening like that.
Yeah. Listen, I can attest to that. I started investing around the same time, and we'll go to like investment events, and I'll be like the only like
Right,
person there.
right,
And you're like looking around, like so now it isn't amazing. Like what a time to be alive when you got so many people like just interested in the space, and the internet has
right,
made the world smaller too. So now you find people that well, he was into this a long time as well. You know what I mean? But
right,
I wasn't in a trade. I wasn't trading options that early though. Like I was buying blue chip dividend stocks, but not really
right.
trading options. So did you jump right into options, or did you like start
Oh,
with like how'd
no,
you start?
95. 95, man, I didn't start like exactly with options in 95. I was truly just stock trading it. And kind of what happened, the same guy that introduced me to it, he was like, what kind of caught my eye to it with trading altogether. He's like, man, I'm finna show you how to make this legalized dope money. Like, I'm like, man, I ain't trying to
Let's
sell
go.
no, I ain't trying to sell drugs, man. He said, no, no, I'm finna show you how they do it, man, how they do it. And so what happened was, I'm gonna drop this name. A lot of people probably don't even know or remember, but he showed me this my first book, and he was like, read this book cover to cover, and it was called Wall Street Money Machine by Wade Cook. Now that's a name, for some old
Yeah,
heads that been in the
yeah.
game. And
No,
Wade
I
Cook,
remember that.
yeah, Wade Cook kind of introduced that idea of rolling stocks, where a stock, it goes between support, what we call support and resistance now, and you basically buy that support, sell that resistance, and rinse and repeat. And so that's kind of how I got my feet wet. Was trading, rolling stocks, just back and forth, and just doing it that way, man. And it was so funny because I laugh at some of the people now how they talk about, they getting mad about, like their broker or something on their phone not executing orders, whatever. I'm like, man, imagine having to download data over AOL connection with a with a with a 14.4K modem. You know what I'm saying? You waiting for a
Yeah,
dial up, to execute your order. Man, it's crazy how far times have come.
yeah, it absolutely is. Also, the fees you had to pay back then was a little different as
Oh,
well. You know what I'm saying?
whew.
So
you
you got
you
to
you you
factor that
really,
in.
man, factor it in. That stopped you from trading. You all this gunslinging that everybody do right now. No, you really thought about your trades, and that's why I like being able that I started out back then, because you really had to think about your trades when you get ready to pay $40 to buy that trade.
Facts.
And
That's
forty and
absolute
forty
facts.
dollars and $40 to sell it. So you got to make $80 just to break even.
That's absolute
Game
facts.
management.
So how'd you go from that to getting into the options game? Like how it got you into
Um,
options?
options came options came actually kind of kind of at the wrong time, wrong place. Which is the reason why I say that was options for me came right about around, I'll say probably like 99,
Okay.
right before they was getting ready to change over to decimals in the market, because we were trading on
Mm-hmm.
fractions back in the day. I don't know if people even
Absolutely.
remember that. We were trading on
Yeah,
one
I
eighth.
was thinking about that. I was watching Wall Street the other day, and in Wall Street, the Michael Douglas movie, they still at that point they
Right,
were still using fractions. You know what I'm saying?
right,
I was like, oh damn, I do remember that. Like such and
right.
such in the eighth or a quarter. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you even had to do all this math even just to get your trade right. It's like, man, I got to
Exactly.
pull out a calculator. And the spreads were crazy because now you got penny spreads on, especially like your ETFs, like your spies and your Qs. But back then it was easy. You could have what is an equivalent of a 50-cent spread now. Between your bid and ask. So, but again, going back to the options, I got into that like about around like 99, which was right before the bubble, basically. That's why I say it was the wrong because I really I got introduced into that because what happened was it was like my account was still small, what was considered small at that time, and so another friend of mine, he came by and he was like, "Man, I got this thing called options that I'm doing," and I don't know if people remember what his name, Funtelis, thing with Optionetics back in the day. I don't know if
Hmm.
people even know who I'm talking about, but he traded. He was doing all these big seminars and all these kind of things. So I kind of went to one of those, checked it out, and he was doing a strategy what they call delta neutral trading, which I don't want to even get into the complexities of that. But long story short, a lot of people lost a lot of money, me included. me included. So I kind of like stepped away from the options game for right after the bubble busted in 2000 because I'm like I got killed like killed. When I say killed, I laugh at some of these people when they talk about the money they losing now. I'm like, you ain't lost no money yet, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
what I realized by doing that is Wall Street is going to charge you a tuition. You're gonna pay
Mm,
somebody. You're gonna pay somebody to learn how to trade. You either gonna pay by the hood, you're gonna pay DYO, you're gonna pay
that's a
me,
bar.
or you gonna pay Wall Street. Somebody gonna get your money, right? So you might as well
Yeah.
take by the hood or DYO or somebody who gonna charge you a little bit less. Cause Wall Street coming for your ends, and they don't play. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, man.
I, I kind of had to step back, rebuild my account or whatever, and I just got in back then, which was books. I just got into the books because now everything is YouTube and all that. But I just started just getting it, turning them pages, man, and like I got to figure this game out because I
So
realized that. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna ask you, when did you have a breakthrough? Like, so what was your breakthrough? And maybe it sounds like you were getting to that anyway. So what was your breakthrough?
My breakthrough probably as far as options because the stock was because the thing was hard is what people don't realize is that. And I like that I came into the stock game first because I always tell people now people want to jump right into the options game. But what helps my option games now is because I understand stocks, right? So my breakthrough as far as the options game was actually when I started applying what I knew from the stock game. And that was probably right after the bubble or right when the bubble started to recover, which was about 2001. And that's when I say that really my option game had a breakthrough. And what happened was with that breakthrough is I realized two things in for my breakthrough. The first thing I realized was that I had to understand how that stock moved. The second thing I had to realize was I had to get control of my mentality. Those
Mm.
two things, those two things was what set the breakthrough. And what I mean by how the stock move is my first successful option trading. I just went back to Wade Cook. I just went back to rolling stocks. And I remember trading AMD. I traded AMD for like a year straight, and I just got intimate with AMD. Like it was like my girlfriend. I could tell you what AMD was gonna do before AMD knew what it was gonna do. You know, and as it would just roll up and down, I would just buy and trade my options. I would buy some calls at that support. I'll sell some buy some puts at the top and just going back and forth. And I just did that.
Yeah.
I just did AMD to simplify it. I was still trading stock, but I was trying to really get that option game down. And so AMD was like my first one. And I was just taking a little bit of money, just taking my little profits, taking some little losses here, and just trying to figure it all out. But I say '01 was probably like my breakthrough.
One of the things I recognize from talking to successful traders, and you just mentioned that is the successful traders, at least that I meet, don't follow a lot of companies. So
No.
there's like a misconception that you have to be following the entire market. You have to have 56 screens at your desk, and you have to be knowing what's going on with everything. But when I talk to successful traders, a lot of times it is following a handful of companies. Like, so I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, those are the successful traders. And I got into that because it was this older white guy. I used to work at Blue Cross Blue Shield down in Atlanta on Peachtree, and on the top floor of that building was a finance company. So I'm sitting in lunch one day, and I used to talk to this older white guy. He was an old trader. Like I mean, dude was probably this was probably like in '01, '02. So dude even then was probably like 65, 70 years old, right?
Yeah.
But still trading, right? And so he was like, he kind of, I would talk to him and bounce stuff off of him. He was like, you a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And I'm like, what you talking about? He was like, you got to become a specialist. Dude literally only traded one stock. Now, I ain't gonna lie and try to remember what that one stock was, but he literally only traded one stock and he had did that for over 15 years. One, one, like literally one. And
Wow.
I was like, that blew my mind because I'm like trying to pick the next hottest thing. Because even though we didn't have the Facebooks and the YouTubes and all the stock tweets and all that stuff, you still had a bombard of information and old like CompuServe groups and AOL groups. So you still was
Oh man,
inundated with
yo,
all these.
the
You
message
were
board used
still
to be the message board used
Yeah,
to be
man.
popping. Like I
Yeah,
remember the
man.
man. My
message
man
board.
bringing back the old names.
I know.
He bringing back the memories.
Man,
Man, I
shout out to the
told
AOL, shout out to the AOL chat rooms, yo. It got kind
man
of nasty
who
at times, but let's get back to
yeah.
finance. But anyway,
No, but no, seriously. So yeah, the successful traders though, man, that's what happened because all those message boards, they were making me lose money because I'm trying to chase the hottest thing and the Teslas of the day and the Apples of the day, and which were like the Web vans, which ain't even in business no more, or the Petco's, all the companies that blew up when the bubble blew, and so it was like he when he said that to me, I started realizing I'm like I have to really specialize. Like now I'm not down to one because I don't think that I could just do one because I'm kind of I like the excitement a little bit, but I do only usually I keep what I call a pitcher's rotation. And
okay.
what do I mean by that is at any given point in time, I'm only gonna have at the most 7 stocks that I'm looking at the most. And out of those 7, I got my top 3, right? Those are my top 3 that I'm trading. Now that 7, those other 4, those are my rotations. So I'm like, I might have to fire somebody and move up somebody else. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I
truth
get
is,
it. It's the baseball analogy. You got your aces, then you got your bullpen, and
there you
maybe
go.
your closer. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I see what you're doing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Out of like all this Tesla and everybody's trading Tesla over and over and over again, out of this whole time that Tesla's been doing this crazy run, I've only traded Tesla twice.
Interesting.
Twice.
Interesting.
And both of those are what I would call hunch plays. I wasn't even really watching it. I just went off like an old school hunch and like, okay, I'm gonna throw some money at it. You know what I'm saying? One time I was successful, other time I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because
yeah.
I don't know Tesla. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't really trade it because I don't know it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a lot of game right there, man. Because I just want folks, and there's a lot of folks that are just getting into space and is trying to study who probably come across this video or audio because of that. Just understand that you don't have to follow everything, and a lot of the successful traders are specialists. I think that's good advice. Because again, you're not the only one. Anytime I talk to someone who's been doing this for a while, that seems to be something that's common. That's common thread there.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, man. Because here's the thing: most people don't even have an account to be trading multiple stocks. I mean, I know people who's got like $1,000, $2,000 account, and you got 5 trades open. No, no, that you no you 1,000, $2,000. I mean, even man, there's people I know. There's guys I know. The guys that trade easily $50,000, $100,000 accounts and don't have but 2 trades open. And then you got people with $1,000 account and they trade five trades because okay, I'll take this $5 here, I'll take this $20 here. And one of the things I want to speak to that is people always say, one thing I always hear that like kind of like, oh yeah, I understand the intent behind it, but it's not the truth. And that is you never go broke taking profits. Yeah, you can. You can go broke taking profits, and what I mean by that is if you're taking profits that are so small that they can't overcompensate your loss, you're gonna go broke. And what I mean by that is if you're taking a whole bunch of $5 profits, so to speak, but then you have a $25 loss, guess what? You needed 5 of those $5 profits just to break even.
Yeah, and it's what's something that you said that's inherent in that is no matter how good you get at this this skill of trading, you're going to take losses, right? And
Always.
Yeah,
always.
I think that's important to point out, right? No matter how good or how long you do this, you will take losses.
Man, risk management is the number one thing in the game. This because all this at the end of the day, none of us can tell you where stock is gonna move. We can predict. It's like forecasting, But anybody who can tell you that they have 100% certainty where that stock is gonna move, they probably gonna end up in jail because they got insider trading.
So let me ask you this though: as someone who's been doing this for so long, what do you think is like a couple of the and you mentioned a couple already. What are some of the mistakes that new traders make? What are some of the biggest errors that you see new traders make?
Oh man, how do I narrow that down? I see so many. The number one thing I see is chasing. That and what the new age people call, FOMO or whatever, fear of missing out. Chasing price action. That is like one of the number one mistakes that you can make as a new trader, middle trader, old trader, is chasing price action. A stock will always give you the opportunity to get in. And if it doesn't, guess what? Move on to another one. There's over 6,000 tradable stock in this market. You don't have to just get crazy because you missed on one. Stop chasing the stock because what happens is you're chasing it up, and once you buy it, guess what most of the time happens? It's ready to go back down because that's just the simple nature of the beast. It goes up and down. So chasing stock is one of the one things, or chasing price, I should say, is one of the one things I see newbies doing. The second thing, which probably tied with the first, is no plan, no plan whatsoever. Everything is just a crapshoot or a lotto ticket, as I call it. And you have to have a plan. One of my favorite sayings I always say is you plan your trade and you trade your plan. Period. But
Mm-hmm.
but that's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. I've been in this game for this long, and I still have to remind myself of that. So you can't ever outsmart the market. The market will always be smarter than you. The market will always have more money than you. The market will always make a move against you. The market is its own beast. And once you get out of that mentality of trying to tame the beast or trying to have revenge against the beast, then you can step back and just and eat along with the beast. See, we got to look at the market. I don't know if any of y'all have been to the aquariums before, but I always make the analogy of like the little shark that's going through the water, and there's all I don't know what those little fish that they call that swim alongside the shark. I don't forgot the name of them, but they eat when the shark eat. They don't have to hunt for the food. They don't have to go looking for it. All they know is they just got to stay next to the shark. If you stay next to the shark, you'll eat.
Oh
Man.
man,
Yeah,
bars.
that's that's some good stuff right there, man. That's some good stuff. Um, you said something the other day. We were talking to on our live show. We were talking to Jay, and you were in the chat room. You said something that was very interesting. When talking about like having a plan, and I think it was along the lines of when you go into a trade, you already know what your ceiling is, and you already know what your bottom is,
Right.
and you said something to the effect of when you actually trade that way, you turn it into a business as opposed to another job. Can you elaborate
Yeah.
on that? Like, what does it mean to turn trading into a business as opposed to a job?
Oh, most definitely, man. That was like my next breakthrough. I can't remember the year when that happened or whatever, but when I really realized that, man, trading is supposed to be a business, and there's a book that's called, I don't forgot the name of the authors. I mean, I can look it up and shoot y'all later to the name of
Yeah.
the book, but it's called Make Trading a Business. And what happens is you realize after a while, think about a business, right? I don't care what the business is. The bottom line of the business is what is you acquire a good or a service that you can provide, and you sell it to somebody for a profit. You acquire it for 5, and you sell it for 10, and you make the profit, right? That's all trading really is. Is understanding. Say, for instance, this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to make it real plain. So, I like electronics or whatever, so I'm gonna use Best Buy. When I go in the Best Buy store, they're not trading with me. They're not trying to figure out what is what the price is gonna be when they selling me that TV or they selling me that phone. No, the price is already on there, and they've already determined that based off their plan. When they bought that big screen TV for $100, a wholesale, they had a plan to exit out of the market at $500. They also have a plan for the sale. Like, okay, well, I can put it on sale for 350. I can put it on sale for 300. My rock bottom stop loss price is 200. They know all that from the jump. Those sales are not haphazard. They're not just sitting in the store saying, "Oh, I guess we might put it on sale for 200 today and see what happens." No, they don't do that. So from trading, we have to do the same thing. When you buy a stock, you have to know three things. One is your entry price. Two is your stop loss price, meaning where you're going to sell this stock or this option at a loss. And three, where you're going to sell it for a profit. You have to know those at the beginning. At the beginning. Because here's the thing, if you don't have that in the beginning, even from the buying side, if you don't have a plan in the beginning, then what happens is the emotions take over. And that's when you begin to chase the price. You said I was gonna buy this option contract at 225. I done looked at the charts, I done did the research. 225 is the price I want to pay. Right? That's your plan. But if you don't have that plan and that option contract start moving on you, you start chasing it. Now you're off your plan. Now you might have said I'm gonna buy it at 225. I'm gonna sell it at $1 on the loss side, and I'm gonna sell it at $4 on the profit side. Well, if you already chasing on the buy, what you think you're gonna do on the loss and the profit? You're in
Yeah.
emotions you're all over in your emotions at that point. And emotions of greed and fear are the number one killers of all traders. Everybody succumbs to it. And really, I say greed and fear, but really, there's only one emotion: fear, because even greed is just disguised fear.
Bars.
Man.
Yeah, that's all great points. That's all great points because we just recently saw people go away from their plan because they got so excited about how much money they made, so they get off their plan.
Right,
And
right.
every trader talks about the emotional part. The emotional part is the toughest part of this. Man, that's a lot of gems right there, Antonio. Like, ask you this though. You also have like your own stock group, right? That you
Right,
have. Can
right,
you explain to us what you're currently doing with your group?
right. Well, what I'm doing with that is just kind of something I'm just playing around with because, to be honest, like my hats is off to guys like you all and like Jay or whatever because y'all put yourself out here to help people learn and all this kind of stuff. And truth be told, sometimes I say hats off to y'all because man, to deal with the customer side of I can
Yeah,
only
yeah,
imagine some of the emails and some of the stuff that y'all get the
absolutely.
DMs like. And I've been there, done that, so I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. Not that I don't like sharing information, because y'all know I do. I do it for free, but
Yeah.
just that side of it. So with the stock group, what I decided to do because a lot of people started asking me again, and I was like, well, you know what? I'll put something out there that's that's kind of widespread, that doesn't take a lot, and it's called Swan Investing, SWAN, Swan Investing Group. It's a private group, and I charge for the group, but it's like $7.95 a month, which is not a lot of money considering all the stuff. I just do that really just to keep it honest, so to speak. That way, I ain't got to worry about spam posters and all that kind of stuff like that. But what
Yeah,
it does
yeah.
is the strategy I use in that is a ETF rotation strategy, and it's purely investing. It's not options. It's just truly investing. And ETFs are one of the easiest ways. And I know y'all deal with a lot of ETFs, and it's one of the easiest ways for newbies to get in the game, even from an option side, but definitely from a investing side. You pick an ETF and pretty much you just, you're buying that basket of stocks without having to try to pick that one stock that might move or whatever. You're kind of betting on the market, so to speak. So with that, it's a rotation strategy where it pretty much is only holding two ETFs at any given time, and based off some parameters that I check in the market on a monthly basis, it makes a trade once a month. So at any given time, it could have two stock ETFs or a stock and a bond ETF or just a bond ETF or even go to cash. So it's a real simplified system. It has a trading aspect to it because I don't believe in buy and hold or what some people turn into buy and forget. I don't believe in that. I believe you do have to keep your eyes on the market, but I don't like that. I don't want to expose people to like that day trading type thing. So because otherwise, that the swan investing, swan means sleep well at night, right?
Okay.
So it's
Got
just a strategy to allow you to sleep well at night. And I'm about to introduce some more ETF strategies in that group and I might start adding. I've been thinking about also adding like some stocks, even though it's kind of hard to find those sleep well at night stocks, but I have some, so I'm gonna start introducing those as well into the group.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let me ask you this: a lot of people getting in. You already talked about some of the mistakes they're making. If somebody's watching this and they're thinking about getting involved in swing trading or options trading, what would be some of the advice you would give to someone who's a newbie?
Well, the first thing you just said, which is key, what you just said, I heard you say swing trading. See,
Yeah.
and a lot of people get into the game initially and they want to day trade, and I think that's like the first mistake that you make is because it's just gonna move too fast for a newbie. I mean, it's literally gonna move too fast on you. Where swing trading is that middle ground between that day trading and that long term stuff, and that's what I do. I'm a swing trader. I'll dabble in day trading, but that's truly not my forte. I'm not gonna sit here and profess to be like the master day trader. That when you see me make a day trade, is really I'm probably playing what I call my lotto ticket. I'm just throwing some money at the market and everything on the table I'm willing to lose. Because that's
Got
not my game. That's not my game. Swing trading is my game where I'm looking to hold something anywhere between two weeks to even out to 3 months or so. And that's really my sweet spot. And so as a newbie coming in, the first thing you should do is first of all have enough capital, have enough money, right? And then with today's market and the low commissions, it doesn't take $10,000 or anything, but you got to be capitalized enough to fight the losses. Because
hmm
here's the thing, there are losses. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to talk about that. Nobody ever. I heard y'all last week talking about the screenshots and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I left this group just because of that. This other group because that's all I saw. It had the word academy in the name, so I'm thinking that they're in there teaching people because academy. But
Yeah.
all it is really a pissing contest, like of screenshots. I'm
Yeah.
like, first of all, I don't like screenshots because, like you say, I mean, where I'm from, you don't show how much money you make.
Man, you already know, man. We talk about that. We talk about that. Like we show some to our students in our private group, but we don't even go as far as to show everything because
Right.
you come from a certain era, a certain place. We taught not to do that. You get yourself in trouble that
Nah,
way.
nah,
Um,
nah, nah.
yeah, but the thing is though, for the people that do share, well, I respect the people that share that, but also share their losses to show that this is
Right,
all part of the game. Yeah, like if you want to show
right.
one side, show both sides because it's all part of the game. Nobody's winning 100% of the time. If they tell you they are, either they're lying or they're not telling the truth, one or the other.
They
Um,
they
man,
lying. They are. It's impossible to win 100% of your trade. It's literally impossible.
hmm
It's impossible. Period. You'll get struck by lightning before you win 100% of your trade over a long
absolutely.
over a long period of time. Can you do that in a day? Yeah, if you make like five trades on a day trade and you only
Only
taking like 5% gains. Yeah.
only person I know that won all the time was Bernie Madoff. And we see what only person I know that won all the time, and we see what happened with
Every
that,
single
right?
time.
Bernie was cooking them. I guess it's easy to cook them when all you're doing is fudging numbers on a piece of paper. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. He ran that game, man. He ran that, but he's a perfect example though. That some things are too good to be true, man. When somebody promising you, 100% gains, it's like, especially on the type of money he was moving, 100%
yeah,
gains on $1,000. Yeah, that ain't no big deal. But when you talking about, I'm gonna hand you over $25 million and you gonna move that 100% in a month, man, that's impossible. Like
yeah.
you you
That's
you can't throw
wow.
that much money in the market and make that kind of money like that because you'll move the market too much.
Yeah.
That's yeah. It's interesting you said that because I was watching something earlier and it was talking about Buffett and one of the points that the gentleman was making. It was talking about his position in gold, and it was saying
Hmm.
that the company that he bought is probably not even the one with the biggest upside, but it's the only company that he could buy because of his position himself in the market. And it was like he's at a point now, his capital is so large that he can't even make great deals no more. Like he got too wealthy to even make great deals.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And that,
right.
it kind of reminded me of what you said, like
Yeah,
you
like
because you'll move a market.
it's bringing down his yearly capital. It's bringing down his yearly percentage because if he buys certain companies, it's going to run them out. It's going to shoot them through the roof or it's going to tank them. Either it's going to do one of the two. It's no
Right,
middle ground when he buys a company.
So he
right.
can't really buy small cap companies because as soon as he starts to acquire a position, it's going to shoot up to the point where now it's not even a good deal no more. So he has to
No,
acquire like the companies of a certain size, and that limits the kind of deals that he can make. That was just to your point about like when people start promising you gains on a certain amount of money, like it's impossible to do, like because what it will do to the overall market. Yeah, man. Antonio, man, you've given us a lot of gems and a lot of amazing advice for those watching that want to get into this game, man. Couple things I have before we get out of here though. First thing is, could you give our audience like a book or something that's inspired you along your journey?
man, you trying to make me sell to squat that down to one book, man?
No,
You
man,
can
you can
name a
give us
couple. You can name a
give us
couple.
three
If
or
you got
four. Give us three or four.
if
Give
you
us
got
three or
two,
four.
three, four, we love books. So
Yeah,
let's
it's
get
hard. It's hard to do, man, because I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader, man. I'm an info
okay.
junkie. So like, I'm probably reading like 3, 4 books at the same time at any given
Same
time.
here. Same
I'm
here.
still
Same.
in
Just give
I'm
me a
still
couple.
in college. I'm still in college. But I go back to the like I say the very first book as far as trading is concerned to jump me in the game. If you can find the book, I don't even know if it's still in print. I actually still have my hard copy, but that's the Wall Street Money Machine. With
Okay.
Wade Cook. That was a game changer for me. Another game changer was what the 24 Essentials of Investment Success. That's William O'Neill,
Okay.
Investor Business Daily. Even if you can't find the book, I tell everybody at least go and get on the Investor Business website, IBD website, or download the app because man, the stuff that they put in there, especially from an investing standpoint, but it also helps with trading because companies that are good to invest in are also good to trade. I mean, they kind of just go hand in hand. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, another trading book and I'll start with just the three trading books. The last one I put on the list would be Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom,
Okay.
which is by this guy called Van K. Stark. It's that book is so powerful, man. If I had to sort the list out of those three to just one, it would be that one. Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom. As a newbie, if you read it as a newbie, it's gonna kind of be over your head and it'll sound like Greek initially. So you might have to read it more than once. But if you be able to digest that information, because what he really talks about is really where I've been moving even more so in this later stage of my career, so to speak, is more into trading psychology, right?
Okay.
Because that's really what it's all about. Because at the end of the day, uh, trading is 10% numbers, is 90% mentality, right? So if you can master the psychology, that's your edge. Indicators, that's not your edge. Knowing fundamentals, PE ratios, that's not your edge. Charts, those are not your edge. Those are tools that you use, right? Your edge is right here. This is what separates you from the men and the boys in the market is your mental edge. Can you design a plan? Can you execute that plan? And can you stick to the plan?
Bars.
Right? That's your edge. I don't care what indicator somebody got. That if there is no holy grail, there is no one indicator that you're gonna find or one ratio that you're gonna find is gonna make you all the money in the world. This is your only edge in the game, is your mentality. So trading psychology is so important. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm long talking, but I'm gonna say this real quick. There was this system that I was reading about. They said that over let me see, out of 19 out of 20 years, this trading system was profitable 19 out of 20 years, right? They gave this system to 120 traders. Ask me how many traders were profitable with that system.
Probably like 30.
Less than half.
One.
Because of the psychology piece.
Damn.
They couldn't stick to the script.
One.
Yeah.
120 people were given a profitable system, 19 out of 20 years profitable. Only one trader was profitable with that system.
That's because you know how like about to age myself with this one. Like if you watch the Flintstones back in the day when they'd have like the one dude on the shoulder and the dude on the other shoulder, that's real when it comes to trading. Like even when you know better, there's always somebody over there like, no, we need 1,000%.
Right.
For me, it's always like it's always like being greedy. Like that to me is my biggest problem. Is like being greedy when you know you won already, which is why
man.
And one of the things I learned from Jay is like, yo, you get to a certain point, just take it because that greed, you keep trying to like ride it all the way up. It's going to bite you.
You got to know, but that's good though. From a trading psychology standpoint, everybody has to know their thing, and that's mine too. Is greed. Every trade I probably lost was because of greed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about ride it up to 1,000% and ride it back down to a 50% loss.
Yeah. Because you're sitting there like, oh, all right, I'm still up 500%, but I was up 1,000. I'm waiting until it gets back to 1,000.
Right.
You lost the whole thing. Yeah.
And I done wrote it down to a 50%, 100% loss. You know what I'm saying? So it's greed. It's greed. So you have to catch those triggers. You have to. I know now I know different things that trigger me. Especially now, say for instance, I kind of got bit by those screenshot bugs. That's why I had to get out of that group. One, because they wasn't really teaching nothing, but two, because it was affecting me too. I wanted to put my screenshots up. So as soon I call it my Facebook post trigger. As soon as I feel like I'm looking at a trade and being like, "Ooh, yeah, this is gonna be a nice one to post," I know it's time for me to get out of that trade because I'm getting greedy, because I'm trying to squeeze out just a little bit more so that I can post it and be like, "See what I did?" You know.
Listen, man, that's self-awareness, man. Listen. One thing I figured out about life in general is nobody has it all figured out. Like nobody does. Everybody has they deal with one way or another, man. So being self-aware is key. When you know what the issue is. You think what I'm saying?
This your edge. This your edge, man. Once you're aware, once you become self-aware, trading becomes one of the most boring things there is in the world to do. But nobody wants to get to that point. Nobody wants to get to the boring because it's exciting to sit there. And don't get me wrong, it's fun to make that money. That's exciting. But the system of it, true professional traders are boring because it's just a business. I bought it at 5, I sold it at 10. Next. It just becomes boring. It becomes repetitive. You almost become just a machine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just executing trades.
Yeah, you just
and that's kind of right. And that's where the majority of my trading is. The majority of my trading is straight up boring. My plan. I basically go into a trade and I'll say, you know what, even on options, which is very low, but I'll say, you know what, I'm going for 37.5%. I'm giving away some nuggets now, some of my system. But I go for 37.5% on the profit side, and I'm gonna take a 17 17.5% on the low side, on the loss. And I'm just gonna trade that way. And I do that with what Jay talked about last week was the one cancel of the order. So when I put my buy order in, my sell order is already in for my 37.5. My sale order is already in for my 17.5 or 17, 18, right? It's already there. So then I can just walk away. I can go on vacation, I can do whatever. And those trades are just happening, right? Those are my dirty sevens, so to speak, that I'm doing that for. Now, to keep that little excitement buzz, I got my little speculation money on the side, what I call my lotto money, because I don't play the lottery, I play options, right? So that's when I was done. I see everybody on Robinhood or doing something with Tesla. I say, okay, well, let me throw a little money over there right quick. Boom. And if I lose it, whatever. I don't even, I don't set no stop loss on it. I don't even set no profit. I'm trying to greed that one out.
But see, also what you just said is also being self-aware too. You know that. Listen, I have a system that works for me that I do this, but I know I'm gonna need a little bit of that. I need a little bit of that action too, right? So let me just put a little couple dollars aside just for that action. I like that because that's also being self-aware. You're like, look, I need this action. So,
Yeah,
but let me
because it keeps him from messing up his system. My thing is his
exactly.
system is running. And
There you
so
go,
now
Corey.
when you got the couple dollars set aside, like he said, he don't play the lotto, he play options. So listen, this play, is set, you know how to set up a high probability play. So if
Right,
you set it at your high probability play, you set it at the point where it's still a high probability play, and then you let it run. You see what I'm saying? So I'm good with it. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
right,
always good with that kind of stuff. Like I know, I'm a swing trader, but I give myself way more time. And so I set an exit, but I won't set a stop loss because I have a year and a half on it. And it'll
right,
almost always trigger my stop loss if I have a small stop loss. So I'll set an
right,
exit as soon as I'll go in, but I never set a stop loss because I have so much time. And
right.
so
And that the time is your stop loss at that point.
yeah, the time is my
Right.
stop loss. And
Yeah.
so I traded a little bit different where I don't because if I set a stop loss, it almost always triggers because I started doing that and then it literally triggered my stop loss almost every single time and I was losing a bunch of money. But when I stopped setting the backward stop loss and just let it run into my price point, into my price, my price selling action,
Right.
bam. And then once the money's available, I reset the trigger to go right back into those trades. And so
Right.
I turned it into, watching watching Jay. That's how I learned how to turn it into a business instead of and then I have a whole account where I just chase stuff. Like
Right.
I literally have a
Exactly.
whole account where I just chase
Right.
trades all around the board, like
Right. Right.
like I'm just
That's
running
your
around the board
right.
chasing trades.
Right. That's
But
your blow. That's
that's
your
what that
blow up
account is
account.
for.
Right. That's your
Yeah.
blow up account. And that's what I'm
And
saying. I got an account just like that. And like I say, I always tell people never hold or trade options around earnings. Right. Well, I say that for your main account, for your system account. I do that on my lotto side all the time. Like, I'll go into an earnings play because I know they move. You know what I'm saying? So if they hit, they gonna hit good, or you gonna lose. It's like
Yeah.
it's a 50-50. It's like it's almost coin flipping on earnings,
yeah,
right?
because earnings is not really about what the numbers is about what the CEO says, because I lost a lot of money on companies that blew through earnings. They crushed earnings. And then the
Right,
CEO get up there and say dumb shit. And then all of
right,
a sudden my money go down the tubes with when he started talking. I'm like, yo, dog, all you have to do is shut up. And we all eat if you just shut up. And then the
right.
CEO get on there and say something, and then I'm like, damn, dog, like you just played me extra heavy.
Damn. Hey Corey, you just gave me a meme idea. But anyway, but no, Antonio, man, just getting back to your story. I think it's dope to see someone that looks like us that's been doing this for trading stocks for that long of a time. Because again, like I said, we don't see that often. You're willing to share your knowledge and your information, and we appreciate that. But let me ask you this question. Throughout your journey, as someone born in the dirty South, to get to the point, you became an engineer and a trader. What is the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome to become the man you are today?
Oh man, that's a deep question, man. You're going introspectively right here, man. It's a counseling
Gotta,
session
gotta,
now.
gotta, gotta, you gotta get at least one, gotta get at least one of these in. You know what I mean? Yeah, one question like that. Yeah.
Man, I feel like I gotta go to a couch somewhere, man. But man, that's a deep question, man. And the first thing that pops in my head, really, man, is out of all of it, especially since you included like me going to school and becoming, career wise and even trading, was self doubt, man. Like really, just overcome. That's the biggest hurdle to overcome is self doubt. Everything to me comes down to again to mentality, right? So once I got over self doubt, then it was like I realized, okay, now I don't have to really prove nothing to nobody. Not that I don't care what other people think, because I mean we all do have a portion of us that care, because if you're a good person, you care what people think. But when I say that I don't really care what people think, is like you either gonna ride the train or not. What I'm saying is I'm not a salesperson, right? I always say I'm a consultant because that's really what I am in my profession. Also, meaning that I'll teach you how, I'll show you how, I'll give you options on what you need to do, but I'm not trying to sell you on this. You either gonna believe it or you're not, right? And so that once I overcame that hurdle of self doubt and having to try to prove, I thought that I was trying to prove myself to others, but really I was just trying to prove myself to myself.
Mm,
Ooh,
gotcha. So what
more
helped you?
bars.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. What helped you in that journey? What do you think it helped you get to the point where it stopped being an issue for you?
Man, when you get tired of getting up, you start to change. You know what I'm saying? When I say getting tired of getting up, meaning that you step out and you fall, you step out, you fall, you step out, you fall. After a while, you get tired of being tired. You know what I'm saying? And you just decide to say, you know what, I'm gonna draw a line in the sand at this point, and I got to do this not only for me, but then you start having children and things like that. You start saying, I don't want to pass this thing down. You know what I'm saying? This mentality down, because even in the scripture it talks about a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, right? And we often think about that as being, some type of money or whatever. But even if I don't have a dollar to leave my kids, which ain't gonna be the case, but in case I did, right? In case I didn't, I've left them with ways to make that dollar, right?
Mm,
To
smart.
I've left them with a mindset to not be a part of the system, to not be engulfed in the system, so to speak. Now, do they always get the message? Of course not, because they're children, they're kids, they're teenagers, whatever. But at the end of the day, I planted that seed, and I know all seed eventually produces fruit, right? So that's why I realized that once I realized that I can, if I handle my mindset right and I get my mind state right, everything else is just a byproduct of that.
Man, listen, man, Antonio, man, you've been an amazing preacher, man. I don't you had an
Yeah,
amazing
like
career in the
we
be
gotta
having
bring
those
you in to do a
bars, man.
seminar, man. We gotta bring
Yeah,
you in
man.
to
Like
do a seminar, man.
he be speaking he be speaking in like tweetables, man. I'm like, that's a good tweet right there. Like he be you missed your calling as a pastor, man. You could have had a mega church with the way you talk, man.
Man, it's funny that you say that because I am a pastor, man.
Yo,
Pastor
I didn't
Eubanks.
listen, I
Look
didn't
at
even know
Pastor
that.
Eubanks.
I didn't even know that, man. But you have a talent.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, you
I
have a talent. You have a skill set, man. That's amazing. That's
don't
amazing,
have
man.
a don't have a mega church, but I'm a pastor though. Yeah,
Oh man, listen,
yeah.
I did for the folks listening to watching, I had no idea, but I just from like talking to him and listening to him, he has a skill set, man. Like very motivational, but also just a lot of wisdom that you share, man. Um, and I appreciate you sharing that and opening up for our audience. Corey, before we get out of here, you have any other things for Antonio you want to say?
No, man, listen, man. He gave us the game quite flat, like Biggie say, man. He laid the game down quite flat. So he does the thing is when you got an old head, somebody who been in the game as long as he has, you know, you gotta listen to your old heads to make it to the place where you trying to go. Like I'm trying to get my mindset to the place where his mindset is at. I'm working on it. I'm almost there But like I said, I got a whole account where I play lotto plays, right? So it's just I can't just let it go. You know what I mean? Like, it's like trying to let sugar go. Like it's crazy. Like
ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. See, your problem would be is if you let that go. If you let that account go, you will blow your trading up.
You're gonna take it to your main account.
Right.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing that people, and I ain't trying to interrupt, but I want to touch on what you just said, because here's the thing. That's where people mess up at. We try to fight who we are. That's what you are, man. You can't fight it. What you do is you try to figure out a way to use it to your advantage, right? To try to fight that and say, I'm gonna close this account. I'm not gonna trade as well. I'm never gonna do this. You lying to yourself. And the heart is the most deceitful of all things. We'll lie to ourselves before we lie to somebody else. So don't lie to yourself. Be truthful. Man, I need this fixed. Okay, but just don't let the fix become all of your account, right? If you got $10,000, don't have your fixed account being 9,000 and your trading account is 1,000.
Yeah,
that's what we, now we need to sit down and have a talk. I like, Corey, man, you're doing that wrong. But if you got, you got $10,000 and you got maybe 2,000 sitting over here in your little lotto account, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's like,
I think that's amazing.
That's but when you try to fight that and you try to like suppress it, no, man. Because here's the reason why I say that: you can only be attacked by what you are. You can only be attacked by what's in you, right? So if you try to pretend like that's not in you, that's the very thing that's going to attack you. But when you meet it head on and you confront it head on and be like, I know you there. I know you that greed. I know you're inside of me. So I'm gonna deal with you this way. But to sit there and be like, nah, I'm not greedy. No, I'm not this. And I'm like, man, please, your account gonna be blown up 50 times over.
Man, listen. Man. Laid it down quite flat, Corey. Ain't nothing to say right there, man. Listen, man, I just want to tell you on the record, man, I appreciate you because and within our DYL group, you always bring like amazing articles, you always bring amazing perspective. You always give us great feedback, and I can honestly say that you're one of the gentlemen in the group that I've learned from. And it's appreciated because, and to our audience out there, like even if you don't, mess with us at DYO, I will say it's great to trade and be a part of a group because you'll never see everything, and you'll always get a different perspective. And you'll meet people like Antonio who have more experience than you do. And like Corey said, you learn from, you got to humble yourself and learn from those folks that have the experience. And it makes you a better trader. So even if you don't mess with us or anything else, I would just say make sure that you work as a group, because working as a group is amazing. You put something in the other day. I'm not going to put it on the record, but you shared something the other day. Not necessarily about Tesla, but I say something
Tesla adjacent.
And I was like, man, I never even thought about that or did the knowledge or data on that.
But what was crazy is I was already in that play, and I was like, yeah, Antonio, yeah.
He's co-signed, yeah.
I was rooting for him, like, because I've been eating off that for a minute.
Yeah, so I mean, just little nuggets like that. Also, you're willing to share your time, and you share time with us. Coming on our platform and to spread the knowledge, man, and to see. And also, we want folks to see that there are people like us that have been at this for a minute, and have a sort of experience, man. So it's important for our folks to see that, man. But I just want to
most definitely.
On the record, I just want to say thank you. We appreciate you, man. Anything we can do for you, man, we definitely got you, man.
Man, most definitely, man. Anytime y'all need anything, man, I'm here, man. Because like I say, I love to see brothers getting down, man, getting this legal money, man. Because I came up in a time where a lot of my friends, did a bid or did the ground. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get that other money.
I was having this conversation with a close friend of ours the other day, and when we start talking about it, it's like people that we know who are still incarcerated, and the amount of money that they were chasing when getting incarcerated. We were talking about people we know that are they've been doing a decade, 15 years, and like they was chasing $5,000. It's like that's like, and not to brag or nothing, but that's like over this past couple months, I make that in a day in the markets. Like so, it's like when you think about it that way. But a lot of times when you don't know that there's other opportunities or other ways,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, it's tough out there, man. But you know, that's one of the reasons that Corey and I we spend time going behind the wall to talk to those brothers and show them that there's other ways, because it's just very important for them to understand that. And a lot of them are very bright too, bright brothers, right? So
Right.
yeah, so you're right about that. You're absolutely right about that, man. So
Man, it's so important, man. I just want to add this too, man. I know I keep interrupting, but as it comes out the
listen, man.
It's so important that you say that you go to the brothers behind the wall, man, because what people fail to realize, especially with brothers, right, with us, and you know, I can only speak to us because that's my existence as well, right? You know,
Mhm.
I not saying I don't have a white friends and white people, but I speak to us because that's my existence. And what people fail to realize is that a person is always going to be your doorway, right? Because you said the brothers behind the wall, but even if they're behind the wall, a person will always be their doorway. And what I mean by that is, if you think back in your life, there's always been a person that led you on the way or led you astray, right? They either led you on the right way or they led you astray. They were a door to an opportunity, whether that opportunity was good for you or whether that opportunity was bad for you. So that's why it's important for people to get connected with somebody, get connected with something. When you're trying to go to another level, you not that you can't do it on your own, not that you're not great enough, not that you're not good enough, but why go through all the issues and the circumstances and the situations when you can just walk in a path that's already been blazed by somebody else? We'll do that on some humbug stuff, but we won't do that on stuff that makes our life better. You know, it's like follow the path. It's not, and that's why I look at a lot of these people now who are in this game, and I'm like, are you even going to be able to be still talking about trading 25 years from now? Right? Yeah, you made $5,000, $10,000 today, but are you thinking long term? That's why I said in y'all call the other day on the comments that if you're not investing or long term, then you just basically created another job, right? I'm trying to get out this game. You know what I'm saying? Most of my portfolio now is all in dividend paying stock, right? Old boring companies. They ain't gonna go up no 50% in a year. You know, maybe not even 2 years, but guess what? Every time they gonna drop me a check. I got a set of 15 companies, and the way I got them laid out based off their dividend payout, I get a dividend check once a week, every week of the year.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And all I do is reinvest that. All I do is reinvest that dividend to buy more stock to get paid more dividends. See, wealthy people buy assets. Assets are income producing objects, right? And that's what you got to do with that trading money. What good do it do to make $5,000 and you gonna spend $5,000? You're eating your seed. You're eating your seed. Stop that, and that'll be the last thing I say with my interruption is to stop eating. Stop eating your seed. Stop eating your seed.
Listen,
stop
man.
Eating your seed.
You've been amazing. You can talk as long as you want to. I just want to say, man. I just want to send a shout out to his name is JT Facts, right? JT Facts is someone that commented on our YouTube channel. He watched our interview with Jay and was like, we need Antonio on the podcast. So to let you know, JT Facts, we're giving you a shout out now. We got Antonio. He's on the podcast. So
appreciate you, JT. Appreciate you, man. Good looking out.
Yeah, so the folks out, man, they want to see you. But and that's just based upon the comments and wisdom you were giving to us on a whole different show, in our live show. So we made it happen, man. So you actually were requested by the folks, man. So again, I just want to say thank you for pouring into our people, man, because we need this and folks like you are why we do what we do, man, to be able to share these stories and give this wisdom to our people, man. So I just want to say again, thank you on the record. We appreciate you. Anything you need from us, man, just let us know. You know, so I just want to say thank you,
man.
Yeah.
No,
so
most definitely, man. The pleasure's been all mine, man.
Absolutely.
I'm an old head that like to talk, man. Y'all give me a platform to do something.
Listen, I'm one of these people that appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
one of the things you said is about how people pour into you, man, and I can attest to that. Like through my journey, my personal journey, I've had several people pour into me, and there's also one of the reasons why, like, money, to be honest with you, doesn't really impress me, because some of the people that have poured into me are the people that, you know, I've, you know, met wealthy people along my journey, but some people that poured into me didn't have a dime, you know, a dime, but what they had was their wisdom and knowledge just from living, you know, even if it's to tell me, don't go down the road I went down. And I appreciate all that. So,
man, that's important, man.
Yeah. So
because I had those same kind of people, man. Like that's the thing that made me want to become a teacher, because so many people was like, yo, they gave so freely that I wanted to give freely. You know what I mean? Like I really went to college and took on $100,000 of debt because so many people gave to me that I wanted to give back. Man, I was like, yo, I'm going to be a teacher.
They were cats in the neighborhood I grew up in, man, where, you know, they were winos or even on crack. I grew up in the crack era, right? Man. And these are people. It was a gentleman that used to be he was a doctor and he was getting to it, had a portfolio and everything, but due to, you know, what happened with crack, he lost it all. And I would sit around and talk to him, and folks be like, "Why are you talking to that junk?" You know how people be in the hood, like, right. I'm like, man, he giving me the game. He telling me like, the whole game. He telling me how to invest, all these kind of things. Like, so I literally learn from everybody I come across, and you know, some things positive, like you said, some things negative, but so I appreciate you as being someone, you know, who's a positive influence, who can come in and share their story, but also just like, you know, as being someone that shares not just with us, but with other folks as well. And that's why we want to give you our platform and let you tell your story. But, you know, to say thank you, man. And anytime, like, we'll have you back on again, our live show, but we wanted to make sure we get this one done as well, just to let the folks know your story about how you guys started, man. So thanks, Antonio. Thanks for your time.
No, man. Thank you, man. It's a pleasure, man. I don't mind doing this at all, man. I like to share knowledge and information that I have and exchange knowledge, man, because I'm still a learner, man. I'm a lifelong learner. Like I say, I read all the time, so I study what y'all do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Don't think I'm not learning from y'all either, man. It's like,
appreciate it.
Because even people who haven't even been in the game long, sometimes they give a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? They see it with a different eyes, because, you know, so it's always learning, man. And so, you know, because I'm always on that mission to simplify. You know, simplifying things is the hardest thing you will ever do. You know, and so that even with trading, it's like, you know, simplify. Get to that point where it's simplistic. Don't have your chart if you're a chartist with 50,000 indicators and you can't tell where even the price is. No, simplify that thing. I know people who trade with just one moving average, and that's that's their whole system. And they play off of that. You know, simplify.
Absolutely, man. And to our folks out there, we're going to end on that. And what he just said is never stop learning. Never stop learning, man. And make sure you give us feedback. Make sure you share this. You know, we're going to leave links to the books he talked about, as well as Antonio's links. So we'll leave links there. And as we always say, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we shall see you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.